I'd like to start today by talking to you about three different individuals and what they have in common. John Parr, Trent Dilfer, and Brenda Fricker. Well, they were all number one. John Parr was a number one hit-selling artist, Trent Dilfer was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Brenda Fricker was an Oscar-winning actress. Do you know what else they have in common? You've never heard of them. I'll try again. The Beatles, Tom Brady, and Meryl Streep. Also number one, but you remember them. You remember them because they were consistent. They weren't just a starburst, but were steady throughout their careers and left a legacy behind them. In the case of Tom Brady, they're still building their legacy. As I pondered the difference between such individuals, as we previously mentioned, it was around the time I started training in long-distance sports. I realized that no matter what we are engaged in, life is a marathon, not a sprint. And that individuals such as the second three that I named seem to understand and apply the principles found in distance sports like marathon running. Today I want to focus on a few people and principles who have seemingly transcended the everyday norms to achieve something great and leave a legacy. Their journey to success outlines for us some of the interwoven principles we can implement as we begin to realize that life is a marathon, not a sprint. I also want to mention that you might be thinking to yourself, but I don't play sports, act, or sing. To you I respond, your version of a championship, an MVP, an Emmy, or a record may look very different. It may be the difference you make at your hospital, the programs you create, the lasting impact you have on your friends. To you I say, some of the world's biggest stages are not always the world's most visible stages. Regardless of what you want your legacy to look like, we can learn valuable lessons as we compare and contrast these prominent individuals on some of the world's most visible stages. Principle number one is consistency. In a marathon, it is all about pace. You'll finish a marathon faster if you ran a 9-minute mile than if you ran a 7-minute mile and walked a mile, and ran a 7-minute mile and walked a mile and repeated that sequence. An example of consistency is Kobe Bryant. He had dedication and work ethic unlike any other. Bryant is quoted as saying, "We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished. We will never be retired." How can you add consistency, dedication, and work ethic to build your legacy? Principle number two, self-care and recovery. Marathon is a long race. Your body needs periods to recover and prepare. When you train for a marathon, you space out longer and longer runs with periods of recovery in preparation to push yourself just that much further or faster the next time. Since the start of the 2010 season, LeBron James has played nearly 18,000 minutes of basketball. The guy who played second most over that span had roughly 2,300 minutes fewer than King James. How does he do it? Well, one might be tempted to throw this up to natural talent or physique, but what might surprise you is that LeBron has one of the most intense post-game recovery programs of any player in the NBA. This recovery program includes ice baths, massages, stretching, carefully calculated meals, compression technology for his arms and legs, and sleep. LeBron is famous for protecting his sleep, often getting 12 hours a day. How can you implement self-care and recovery in building your legacy? And finally, principle number three, we have patience. Improvement, success, overcoming failures, and obstacles all require patience. Marathon is long. You can't get bored and you can't give up when hills get tall and the wind is in your face. I've given two sports examples so far. I'd like to vary from that for this next one and talk about a young Walt Disney. Believe it or not, the young Walt Disney was fired from an early job on a newspaper because they said he wasn't creative enough. He lacked imagination and had no good ideas. When he founded his first animation company in 1920, it went broke in a year, and Disney reportedly was so poor that he couldn't pay his rent and survived by eating dog food. When he tried to get MGM Studios to distribute Mickey Mouse in 1927, he was told that the idea would never work because a giant mouse on screen would terrify a woman. That was a mistake. How can you, like Walt Disney, develop patience and grit to never give up as you forge your legacy? I urge you to consider how you can better develop your consistency, self-care, and patience, because life is a marathon, not a sprint.